All right, welcome back to the deep dive. We are kicking off the year by jumping straight into the thick of it with a strategic breakdown of one of the biggest events in global sport. Today, we're deep diving into the sources surrounding the curtain raiser for the Women's Premier League 2026. And this is not just match one. This is a colossal clash. We've got the defending champions, Mumbai Indians Women, taking on the Royal Challengers Bengaluru Women. But the stakes, the stakes feel so much higher this year.
Oh, absolutely. The whole context has shifted.
India is still buzzing, riding that incredible high from the historic Women's World Cup win.
The talent pool is just peaking.
And the expectations for this WPL season are, well, they're astronomical. Okay, so let's unpack this. Our mission today is pretty clear. We're going to move past the hype and really synthesize the expert analysis on three key fronts. We'll look at the historical rivalry, the crucial differences in how these squads are built, and then the environmental factors that, honestly, could just flip the whole script.
And by the end, you'll know exactly why the analysts are leaning the way they are.
Let's get the details on the table first.
Sure. So it's set for Friday, January 9th, 2026, 7:03 p.m. Indian Standard Time at the Dr. D.Y. Patil Sports Academy in Navi, Mumbai. And when you look at how the sources are framing this, it's less a match and more of a proof point.
A proof point for what?
For whether MI are still that same consistent machine or if RCB's star power can finally, deliver that knockout blow right out of the gate.
Okay, so before we even get to current form, let's establish the baseline here. This rivalry. These two teams, they know each other so well.
They do.
They've faced off 7 times in WPL history. What does that historical ledger actually tell us?
Well, on the surface, it shows Mumbai Indians, MIW, they have a slight edge. It's 4 wins to 3.
So tight.
Very tight. But what the sources really stress is that the 4-3 number doesn't capture the real story. These matches are rarely one-sided blowouts.
Right. They're always a fight.
Always a fight. Even the wins are these highly charged affairs, often decided in the last 3 or 4 overs. It just underscores this deep psychological rivalry between them.
So MI might have the slight edge on paper, but RCB always pushes them to the limit.
To the absolute limit, yes.
Okay, so that's the history, competitive fire. But what about right now? T20 cricket lives and dies by momentum. How are these two teams looking coming into this tournament?
Momentum is the perfect word for it. Statistically, MIW's recent franchise T20 form is it's significantly stronger, more consistent.
A well-engineered machine is how it's often described.
Exactly. They minimize risk, they execute the basics perfectly, and they rely on that deep, deep bench of proven players to stabilize any kind of wobble.
And RCB?
RCB is, the term used is ups and downs, and that really means volatility.
High highs and low lows.
Precisely. When they click, they look like world beaters, posting huge totals, bowling teams out for nothing. But when they don't click, they can suffer these really significant collapses.
With that or the ball?
Both. And that inconsistency is their biggest risk coming into match one against a team as stable as Mumbai.
That sets up the tension perfectly. The dependable machine versus the high-risk, high-reward talent. So let's get into the squads, because this is where the predictions are really forged. MIW, defending champs, everyone talks about their squad depth. Why is their team construction seen as so superior?
It all comes down to the quality of their all-rounders. It's just sheer quality. MIW built their team around a core of 4 elite, proven performers who can all win a game on their own.
So they're not just offering variety, they're offering consistency across different parts of the game.
Exactly.
So let's break that core down. Who are we talking about here?
Okay, so you have to start with Nat Cyver-Brunt.
The anchor.
The anchor and the accelerator. She consistently gets runs and gives you critical overs with the ball. Her presence just raises the floor for the whole team.
Okay, who's next?
Hayley Matthews. A true big match player. She can just take the game away from you in the power play with either bat or ball. She sets the tempo.
And then, of course, the leadership.
Right. Harmanpreet Kaur, the India captain. She's more than just a finisher. She is an expert crisis manager. Her ability to soak up pressure and then just explode at the end it's almost unparalleled.
And the fourth pillar.
Amelia Kerr, the spin all-round threat. A brilliant leg spinner who takes wickets, and she's also a very, very smart batter who can guide the lower order.
That's a genuinely formidable core.
Mm-hmm.
But let me push back a little here. Doesn't having 4 such crucial players create its own kind of weakness? What if they all fail at once? It happens in T20. Is the dependence too great?
That's a fair question, and the sources do address it. They point to the depth of their domestic talent. While those four are the stars, MI have shown again and again they can bring in domestic players to play crucial supporting roles. Their batting order is just long.
So a top-order collapse isn't catastrophic for them.
It's less catastrophic, for sure, which is why they don't have those ups and downs we talked about with RCB.
Understood. Okay, let's switch to RCB-W. Massive star power. But the analysis suggests they rely much more heavily on fewer players.
That's right. For Bengaluru, the game really starts, and can sometimes end, with Smriti Mandhana.
The catalyst.
She is the catalyst. Her form just dictates how their power play goes. If she gets them off to a flying start, RCB is instantly in a commanding position.
And after her?
Then you have Richa Ghosh, the aggressive keeper-batter. She provides those middle-order fireworks, the raw power to clear the ropes.
Okay, so two huge Indian talents. What about their overseas players?
They rely very heavily on Grace Harris and Nadine de Klerk for all-round contributions. Harris gives you that big hitting and some handy off-spin, while de Klerk brings seam bowling and some reliable batting support.
The contrast really is striking. Mumbai feels like this finely tuned orchestra.
Yes.
And Bengaluru feels more like a high-wire act, relying on a couple of stars to really dazzle.
I think that's a perfect analogy. The challenge for RCD is that their stars pretty much have to be perfect. If Mandhana has an off day, they don't really have the same structure MI has to recover.
And the supporting cast has to overperform.
Exactly. It's not enough for Harris and Clerk to just contribute. They need to deliver match-winning performances to challenge MI's core. A handy 30 isn't enough. It needs to be a game-changing 50.
So if one of MI's top four has a bad day, they're okay. For RCB, that's not a luxury they have.
Not at all. Their path to victory really depends on a collective overperformance. And it all centers on Mandhana's batting. When she scores fast in the power play, RCB wins. When she struggles, the team can deflate pretty quickly.
That really sets the tactical stage. But T20 in India is never just about the players on the sheet. It's about the environment. Okay, so this is where I think it gets really, really interesting. We have to talk about the pitch and the conditions at DY Patil because they could just nullify all the historical data. What are we expecting from the surface?
We are expecting a batting paradise.
Runs.
Lots of runs. The DY Patil pitch is famous for true bounce, good pace. It's not tricky. Batters can trust it and just play their shots. We should see scores in the 170, 180 range, maybe even higher.
And the weather's clear, no rain.
Weather is clear, which is good. But that leads us to the critical tactical factor.
The do factor.
The do factor.
Okay, for anyone listening who might not watch a lot of night cricket in India, can you explain why this one thing can completely change a team's strategy?
Sure. So dew is very likely to settle in during the second half of the game. And for the bowling team, tactically, this is just devastating.
Why? What does it do?
The ball gets wet. It gets slippery like a bar of soap. And when that happens, bowlers, especially spinners, they just lose control. They can't grip the seam. They can't impart spin. The ball starts to skid off the pitch, which actually makes it easier for the batter.
So chasing becomes much easier.
Much easier. Defending even a big total becomes incredibly hard because your bowlers can't execute their plans, especially those crucial death-over skills like Yorkers or slower balls.
So the pitch favors batters, and the dew favors the team chasing. This makes the toss. I mean, it's not a 50-50 thing anymore, is it? It's arguably the most critical moment of the entire game.
It is huge, yes.
Okay, let's connect this back to the teams. How do MI's strengths hold up against this environmental risk?
Well, their core strengths, all that depth, it actually helps them manage the dew better. If they're bowling second, they have 4 genuine all-rounders they can cycle through. If one bowler is struggling with the wet ball, they have other high-quality options.
And they have experience in high-pressure chases.
Tons of it. They know how to manage a run chase when the ball is skidding on nicely.
And what about RCB, if they have to bowl second in the dew?
They run right back into their squad construction problem. They need their main bowlers to be perfect, even with a slippery ball. And if those bowlers start leaking runs, RCB just doesn't have the same depth to pivot to another elite option.
Which means the score can get out of hand very quickly.
Very quickly.
So it seems pretty clear. Whichever captain wins the toss is almost certainly going to choose to bowl first.
Without a doubt.
Okay, so given all of this, the history, the squads, the massive influence of the dew, what is the analysis pipeline actually predicting?
Unsurprisingly, yeah. Most of the analytics models and the fantasy tip platforms, they're all favoring the Mumbai Indians women.
It's the safe bet.
It's the safe bet. Their balance, their consistent form, and their history in big games just gives them the edge. They're probably coming in as a, say, 60-40 favorite.
But 60-40 is not a blowout. There is a real path to victory there for RCB.
There is.
So let's talk about that. What does that perfect match for RCB look like? How do they flip the script?
Okay, so their perfect match, it requires surgical precision. First, if they are chasing, they have to restrict MI's top order. They cannot let Cyberbrunt and Matthews get set. They need early wickets to put pressure on that MI middle order.
And then in the chase?
In the chase, Manhana and Ghosh have to exploit the dew from ball 1. They need a lightning-fast start in the first 6 overs to get ahead of the rate. Build a cushion for the end.
They need that statement performance from their star catalyst right at the top.
Exactly. The sources all highlight it. RCB's power play usage is absolutely critical. They need to turn the match into a high-risk, high-reward shootout. That's where their volatile talent can really thrive.
And if Mumbai wins the toss and chases?
They're just playing to their strengths. They'll back their deep batting lineup and experienced finishers like Harmanpreet to chase down anything, especially with a wet ball.
Perfect. So for you, the listener, here's what to watch for on Friday. Expect an aggressive run rate on that D.Y. Patil pitch. Watch those first 6 overs. That's where Manhana has to fire for RCB. And track the bowling changes in the second innings. See which captain reacts to the dew first. So to wrap this deep dive up, the final word from the sources is pretty clear. Mumbai Indians Women are coming in as the favorites. It's because of their squad depth, their consistency, and their history. However, and this is a big however, this match is far from a foregone conclusion. RCB has the world-class talent to cause an upset, especially if Smriti Manhana fires. So remember those 2 key tensions. It's MI's consistent depth versus RCB's reliance on their star power. And hovering over all of it is the dew factor, which makes the toss so incredibly important.
And, if we just connect this to the bigger picture for a second, the sources all detail how hard it is to control a wet ball. So you have to wonder, how much does a pre-match weather forecast force a captain like Harmanpreet Kaur or Smriti Manhana to completely rethink their bowling plans?
It's not just about picking your best 11.
Not at all. It's about anticipating which specific bowler, say a wrist spinner like Amelia Kerr, who might grip the ball differently, will actually be most effective when that ball is wet. Does the dew force you to just bowl seamers with no variation just to maintain control? And if so, does that neutralize your best wicket-taking threats? That's the hidden tactical layer that will really decide this game.
A great thought to mull over as you watch this incredible season opener unfold. Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll catch you next time.